Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into Middleboro, Massachusetts, as Milford TV is happy to bring you this coverage of Milford High School baseball. We are once again bringing you coverage of the 2015 MIAA playoff tournament today. An excellent matchup in the first round of the Division II South bracket, featuring your Milford Scarlet Hawks here on the road in enemy territory, taking on the Middleboro Sachems. I am Tim Coet, Rob O'Keefe also here on the coverage. We've already had a chance to take in playoff action for boys volleyball and softball so far this week, and a chance now to see the Scarlet Hawks baseball team. It wasn't always pretty through the regular season for the Hawks, but in the end they got it done. They finished up the regular season with an 11-9 overall record, 9-7 within play in the Hockomock League, and so for the 37th straight season, it is playoff time for the Scarlet Hawks team. And as we take a look at the final stretch of the regular season, we talked about it back during the Attleboro game, some mixed results over the course of the second half of the season, but when the chips were down, this team really stepped up big in their final two games of the season that decided 4-0 victory over Attleboro, which officially sealed their bid in the playoffs, and then they followed that up with a 6-3 victory over Sharon High School at the end of the season, so riding a two-game winning streak to close out their regular season campaign. And it's going to be a tall task for the Scarlet Hawks here this afternoon, taking on the number 2 seed, Middleboro Sachems. This is a team that is used to success, and certainly fans of baseball around the greater Milford area know this team well. Middleboro taking on Hopedale High School 2 years ago in the Division III state championship, and Middleboro was able to stage a last-inning comeback to walk away with the victory and the state championship. So this is a team with a strong pedigree of success, and Milford will certainly need to bring their A game to the field here this afternoon. They will have the ace, Alex Croteau, on the mound. We will have the starting lineups and the game's first pitch in this playoff action coming up next here on Milford TV. We welcome you right back inside the Middleboro High School baseball field here in Middleboro, Mass, just minutes away from first pitch in this first round playoff matchup in the D2 South bracket. Again, a very tough competitor here in the Middleboro Sachems, the number 2 seed in the bracket, taking on 15th seeded Milford. We'll get right to the starting lineups for this afternoon's game, starting with the visitors, which for this game is the Milford Scarlet Hawks. Leading it off is the second baseman, Drew Wild, with Aiden Wild, the shortstop, batting second. Blake Hill plays right field and bats third, with Jeff Fasazzi in the cleanup spot catching today. Griffin Lynch is the left fielder, batting fifth, with Anthony Mazzini playing first base and batting sixth. Batting seventh is the third baseman, Brian Ireland, with Pete Schuler batting eighth, playing center field. And batting ninth is today's starting pitcher for the Scarlet Hawks, Alex Croteau. And for the hometown Middleboro Sachems, their lineup looks like this. Eddie Hart, the shortstop, leads it off, with Brendan Chipman, the second baseman, batting second. Cody Braga plays third base and bats third, with Paul Sanses, the left fielder, batting fourth. Joe Sclafani, the right fielder, bats fifth, with Chris Reed, the starting pitcher, batting sixth. Christian Bean, the designated hitter, bats seventh. Batting eighth is the first baseman, Nick Delamano, and batting ninth is the catcher, Cody DiBiase. Flexed out of Middleboro's lineup, only playing defensively, is their center fielder, Casey Tucker. Middleboro already on the field, looking pretty much ready to go. We're about 7 minutes ahead of the scheduled first pitch time for this game. The two managers currently going over ground rules with the two-man umpiring crew, so it looks like we are literally just moments away from getting this playoff action started. Again, Milford riding that two-game winning streak. They're also hoping to continue to ride the red-hot bat of Aiden Wild, finishing up his first regular season as a member of this Milford varsity squad, and what an unbelievable impact Aiden Wild had on this team this year. He ended up with the number 1 batting average in all of the Hockomock League when all was said and done, hitting over 500 for the regular season, and really it was the combination of the Wild brothers that really carried this Milford offense for long periods of time through the regular season. They also got terrific starting pitching throughout the regular year out of the right arm of Alex Croteau, and that is who will be called upon to pitch this game this afternoon. Croteau carrying a 5-4 record into action. He will pitch in the bottom half of this inning. But first it will be the Milford bats with a chance to jump on top early as Drew Wild starts to stride towards the plate. Drew Wild, Aiden Wild, and Blake Hill, the top three batters in this Milford lineup, set to come to the plate. Under overcast skies here in Middleboro, but the temperature is comfortable. It is currently 68 degrees here at field level in Middleboro, Massachusetts. And Drew Wild now stepping in on the left side, with the cheers already rising up from the Milford bench. The starting pitcher ready to go for Middleboro, and first pitch swinging. Wild sends one pretty deep out into center field, but settling underneath is Casey Tucker. And just like that, one pitch and one out here in the top of the first inning. Now it is Aiden Wild coming to the plate. Again, Aiden Wild, a .537 batting average through the regular season, 36 hits in 67 at-bats, just unstoppable in the Hockomock League. He takes a pitch outside for ball one. Aiden Wild leading the team with 21 runs batted in, and takes a pitch high, now ahead in the count 2-0. A .587 on-base percentage, a .746 slugging. Dazzling stats any way you slice it. Wild gets into this pitch, sends it out towards right center field. A diving attempt for the center fielder Tucker. He can't get there. Digging for second base and getting there. Standing up is Aiden Wild with a one-out double. Well, there is the power of Wild immediately showing itself in his first playoff at bat. A runner in scoring position ahead of the right fielder, Blake Hill. Blake Hill also amongst the upper echelon of hitters in the Hockomock League through the regular season, as he takes a pitch high for ball one. Hill batting .339 through the regular season, takes a swing at this pitch, hits it in the air, foul behind third base. Wandering over now is the shortstop as he is taking charge of the play. Eddie Hart makes the catch. It was Cody Braga tracking that ball into foul territory, but getting called off by the shortstop who makes the catch. 2 outs now in the inning for Basazzi. A handful of Milford fans making the trip out here, but a heavy dose of the hometown fans lining the field here in Middleboro, as Jeff Basazzi takes a breaking ball outside for ball one. Basazzi up over 300 with the batting average for the regular season at .318. Jumps ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes against Chris Reed, the righty starter for Middleboro. Takes a swing at this pitch and pops it up in foul territory just beyond the plate. It is the pitcher Reed who takes charge, makes the catch, and that will retire the side here in the top of the first. Milford strands a runner in scoring position. It will be the Sachems who will take their first swings of the game when we come back next here on coverage of Milford High School athletics in the MIAA tournament right here on Milford TV. The Hawks cannot capitalize on a one-out double in the top half of this first inning. Now it is the hometown Middleboro Sachems who will take their first at-bats of this afternoon, and it will be against Alex Croteau, the workhorse of this Milford pitching staff throughout the regular season. Alex Croteau pitching 53 1/3 innings in the regular season, again accumulating that 5-4 record, a 2.36 ERA. He even had a save on the season. 57 strikeouts, which by far led this Hawks pitching staff, and he will get a few final words from his battery mate Jeff Basazzi before he throws his first pitch here in tournament action. Eddie Hart, the shortstop for Middleboro, to lead things off. Middleboro's head coach is Bill Lawrence. Of course, Paul Pellegrini manning this Milford Scarlet Hawks team. And the righty Hart digs in, getting set to face the righty Croteau. Now finally ready to see the first pitch of this bottom of the first. Here it is, and it is swung on and grounded to third base, but through for a base hit. That one just squeaking through in between Ireland and Aiden Wild. So a first pitch single sets the tone here in the bottom half of the inning. Brian Ireland sporting number 23 at third base today, left the jersey at home. And now a bunt attempt will test Ireland at third base. He fields and throws to first for the out. Now the runner getting caught in between second and third. They have him in a rundown if they can finish it off. Ireland sends the throw into second base, but it gets away from the glove of Wild. And scampering back to the bag is Eddie Hart. Ireland hesitating just a bit before sending that throw into Wild. He sent it low. It skipped away. And a near base running blunder by Eddie Hart, but he gets bailed out by the bad throw. He winds up at second base. And Brendan Chipman gets credited with the sacrifice bunt. A runner in scoring position with one out now for Cody Braga. And that pitch misses for a ball, so in some aggressive hitting by this Middleboro team. First pitch swinging, Hart was able to get the single, and then Chipman getting the bunt down on the first pitch of his at-bat. But now Croteau falls behind Cody Braga, 2 balls and no strikes. The 2-0 pitch on the way, it's up. 3-0. Very deep field dimensions here in Middleboro. It looks as though the only place where you might be able to sneak one out of here is out to left field. Here's the 3-0 pitch now. Braga taking all the way, and he takes strike one. There's a cobblestone wall that extends up from left field out to about left center. Fairly high in spots. Some fans taking in the game, sitting atop that wall, also sitting on vehicles behind the wall. Here's the 3-1 pitch. It's hit on the ground towards shortstop. Aiden Wild waiting for it. He bobbles. The throw to first. Still gets there in time. Wild with just a little bit of trouble getting that out of the glove, but a strong throw was still able to get Braga at first base. 6-3 on the ground out. It advances Eddie Hart to third base with now 2 outs and an RBI opportunity for Paul Sances, the left fielder. And the first pitch of the at-bat took something off that pitch, but it stayed up. Croteau trying to find his command here in inning number 1. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's on the inside corner, evening up the count at 1-1. This pitch swung on and missed. Croteau getting that one past the bat of Sances, and now 1 strike away from getting out of this first inning. Hart takes his lead in foul ground from third base. Here's the 1-2 pitch. It is skied foul, up and out of play, over to the right. And we have continued to see quite a bit out of the Patriot League in these MIAA playoffs. The softball team also in Patriot League competition in their first round. Here's another 1-2 pitch. It's another pop-up foul, giving chase is Basazzi and Brian Ireland. Ireland going well beyond the field of play as that ball lands next to the stands that are beyond the field of play down the third base line. So another foul ball, and it stays a 1-2 count. The softball team defeating the Patriot League's Quincy High School in their first round action. Now Milford taking on the Patriot League Middleboro Sachems. Another 1-2 pitch. This one stays up around the eye level of Sances, and it evens the count at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the inning, and a runner at third base. The home team hoping to strike first here in the first inning. Here's the pitch, and it's a line drive foul out towards the woods beyond the field of play, beyond the right field fence. Croteau shaking off the first sign from Basazi, now has the one he wants. The 2-2 pitch. This is hit in the air deep down the right field line, but another foul ball. Paul Sansa is sending the bench players of both of these teams scrambling to try to find these foul balls. From the stretch, Croteau's 2-2 pitch, and it's in for a called strike 3. Sanchez does not like it. It's the first strikeout of the game for Croteau, and Middleboro strands a runner at third base. Each team strands a runner in scoring position in the first. We're through one full inning now for Middleboro, scoreless between the Hawks and the Sachems here on coverage of Milford High School athletics here on Milford TV. Top of the second inning now from Middleboro. Chris Reed back on the mound for the home team. Griffin Lynch to lead it off for the Hawks, and he takes a called strike 1 on a fastball to open up the frame. And now takes a breaking ball outside, 1-1 the count. Griffin Lynch pitching this Milford team into the playoffs with a complete game one-hit shutout against Attleboro in their penultimate game of the season. Lynch pops this ball up close to the edge of the field of play, but it stays in. And Middleboro is able to make the catch for the first out of the inning. That was the first baseman Delamano traveling deep into foul territory to make that catch. Plenty of foul territory for these fielders to make plays here in Middleboro. We've seen that on the last 3 outs recorded by Milford. Blake Hill, Jeff Basazi, and now Griffin Lynch all fouling out. Anthony Mazzini now at the plate. And jumps ahead in the count quickly, 2 balls and no strikes. Anthony Mazzini batting .211 through the regular season. And now in the driver's seat in the at-bat, 3 balls and no strikes. 12 hits on the regular season for Mazzini, 7 runs scored. He had 3 doubles, 9 runs batted in. Now a 3-ball, 1-strike count. Mazzini not interested in offering at the 3-0 pitch. And this one up and away, and Mazzini works a 1-out walk. The first walk in the outing for Chris Reed. Milford's second base runner of the day, ahead of Brian Ireland. You know how superstitious baseball players can be. You have to imagine Ireland not exactly pleased wearing a different uniform number on his back than what he's accustomed to here on the Scarlet Hawks team. He has worn the number 22 throughout the regular season, but a little jersey mishap on the trip out here to Middleboro, and as a result, wearing that number 23. This pitch misses high, 1 ball and 1 strike the count. Mazzini out to a small lead at first base. He's held on. And the pitch hits Ireland. Tries to jump out of the way, but it grabs him on what looked to be the left knee. And he heads to first base. It pushes Mazzini into scoring position. Milford with a little something brewing here in the second inning. 2 on with 1 out. And the number 8 hitter, Pete Schuler, comes to the plate. Plenty of territory in this outfield. If Schuler could poke one over these outfielders, with his speed, he could run for a while. Takes the first pitch for strike 1. A check on the runners, now a breaking ball that misses outside, evens up the count at a ball and a strike. Schuler hitting .236 through the regular season. 13 hits on the year, 2 doubles, 2 triples, 8 runs batted in. He did work 11 walks, so at times showing good patience at the plate. He's ahead in the count now, 2 balls and a strike. Runners lead at first and second. The pitch on the outside edge. Evens up the count at 2-2. Milford bench located on the first base line here in Middleboro as this pitch is hit on the ground through the hole between short and third. They will hold Mazzini up at third base as the left fielder Sanchez was able to get to that one quickly. It is a single for Schuler. It's the first hit in the inning. And a walk, a hit by pitch, and a single have now loaded the bases for the Scarlet Hawks with one out and the pitcher, Alex Croteau, coming to the plate. A great chance for Croteau to help himself out. The first pitch is in for strike one. Now the count even at a ball and a strike. Croteau saw limited action at the plate this season. He batted .143. Gets a hold of this pitch and hits it foul off to the right. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Coach Pellegrini opting to not put a designated hitter in his lineup today, instead allowing Croteau to bat for himself. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the outside edge for a called strike 3. A breaking ball that froze Croteau. A good pitch for Chris Reed as he gets his first strikeout at a prime time. Brings the second out in the second inning. Keeps the bases loaded, but a tough bat to deal with here for Reed now as the lefty Drew Wild steps in for the second time today and takes the first pitch up over his head for ball 1. Milford the underdog in this matchup. They need to take advantage of opportunities like this as Wild gets into this pitch, sends it out to shallow center field. The diving attempt out there, and the catch is made by Casey Tucker. He laid out to make the catch. That one looked like it was going to drop, but a terrific play defensively by Tucker to grab the out that ends the inning, and Milford will strand the bases loaded here in the second. It took a dazzling defensive play, but Milford unable to cash in. We head to the bottom of the second inning. It is still scoreless here in Middleboro on coverage of Scarlet Hawks baseball here in the MIAA tournament on Milford TV. A frustrating end to the top of the second inning. Milford had the bases loaded with 1 out, but a strikeout from Alex Croteau and then a terrific play in the outfield by Casey Tucker. He is in this game solely for his defense out in center field and really showing why he deserves to be out there, making that diving catch on a ball hit by Drew Wild that looked like it would have scored at least 2 runs. But instead the catch is made to end the inning and we play on scoreless. Croteau quickly ahead in the count against Joe Sclafani, the right fielder. Now dishes a pitch outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count as we get started here in the bottom of the second. And an off-speed pitch in for a called strike 3. Strikeouts to his last 2 batters for Croteau. Getting a big called strike 3 against Paul Sanchez to end the first inning. Getting a strikeout here now, first pitch swinging. It's Reed, Croteau's counterpart, who pops it up just inside fair territory. It is Croteau who makes the catch. So pitcher against pitcher, and Croteau wins the battle, and there are 2 quick outs here in the second. Now here is Christian Bean, the designated hitter in the Middleboro lineup. A pitch missing low. Croteau's next offering, and a wave and a miss well out in front of that pitch was Bean. 1 ball and 1 strike with 2 outs and the bases clear. And again, Croteau causing Bean to really lose his timing at the plate. He's looked bad on those last 2 swings. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. The next pitch is a line drive off of Croteau. He recovers, the underhand flip to first base, gets there in time. Hard contact off of Croteau, but he looked to be unharmed as he was able to field his position and get the out at first base and complete the 1-2-3 inning to conclude the second. It's been 2 fairly speedy innings to open up this first round playoff action, and we move on to the top of the third, still scoreless. Coverage of Milford High School athletics here on Milford TV. No runs on 2 hits with no errors for Milford, no runs, just 1 hit, and no errors for Middleboro as we enter into the top of the third inning. Milford TV bringing you coverage of the 2015 MIAA playoffs. Here in round 1 of the Division II South bracket for baseball, Milford taking on Middleboro. Aiden Wild leading off the inning and takes a pitch that misses for ball 1. I am Tim Coette, Rob O'Keefe manning the cameras. And now Wild taking a strike. Drew collected a 1-out, or excuse me, Aiden Wild collected a 1-out double in his first at bat. Now pops this pitch up in foul ground right at the edge of the field of play, and it was just out of play. Narrowly missing our camera setup here beyond the first base line. The catch was made, but just outside of the field of play, so Aiden Wild will have another chance. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. Here's the next pitch. It bounces in. And you can see Chris Reed is trying to get these righty bats to bite on that off-speed pitch on the outside edge, but he hasn't been able to locate it in these early innings. And this pitch dips in too low. Three balls and 2 strikes now the count to Wild. The payoff pitch, it's a hard ground ball to shortstop. Fielded there by Hart, the throw to first base in time. Steady hands at shortstop for Hart. And Wild retired to open up the third inning. Defensively for Middleboro, it's Cody DiBiase behind the plate with Cody Braga at third, Eddie Hart at short, Brendan Chipman at second, and Nick Delamano at first. Left to right in the outfield, Paul Sanses, Casey Tucker, and Joe Sclafani. Chris Reed now pitching with 1 out here in the third inning. Blake Hill taking a pitch high for ball 1. Hill sends a high fly ball out to right field, twisting into foul ground, racing over is the right fielder Sclafani. He makes the catch. And Blake Hill fouling out for the second straight at bat, fouling out down the left field line with the catch made by the shortstop in his first at bat. This time the right fielder taking care of that fly ball and foul ground. Again, much different than Pheno Field. Not a ton of foul territory down the lines at Pheno, but here in Middleboro, quite a lot of room for these fielders to roam to make these catches. Now Jeff Basazzi batting with the bases empty and 2 outs. He starts off ahead in the count. He fouled out to end the bottom, or the top half of the first. That pitch in on the hands. He rolls it foul behind the plate. One ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Reed has the sign. Here's his pitch. Right at the top of the strike zone. A high strike call by the ump. 1-2. The Milford coaching staff in disagreement with the call. The 1-2 pitch on the way. It's hit on the ground up the middle. That's going to sneak its way through into center field for a 2-out single. Milford with at least 1 hit in every inning so far. They've had plenty of base runners. They've stranded 4 men through the first 2 innings. They have a 2-out runner at first base here ahead of Griffin Lynch. Now from the stretch, Reed's first pitch. A late strike call made. Basazzi with another delayed steal attempt. Here's the throw down to second base. It is there waiting. And Basazzi is out, and the inning is over. We saw him execute that against Attleboro last week, but this time a strong throw from the catcher, DiBiase, and Basazzi gunned down to end the inning. So on to the bottom of the third we go. It remains scoreless between Middleboro and Milford here on coverage of the 2015 MIAA playoff tournament on Milford TV. Middleboro will bring batters 8, 9, and 1 to the plate in this bottom half of the third inning. A light breeze starting to blow across the field, not much of a factor as Croteau delivers his first pitch into Nick Delamano for a called strike 1. Croteau quickly ready with another pitch, and it's lined foul to the backstop. Ahead in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Delamano making a nice catch in foul ground in the top half of this inning. Now takes a look at a pitch well up and out of the strike zone. Croteau right back on that pitching rubber. He stares over the glove for the sign. Now comes to the plate and delivers a pitch low. Delamano from 0-2 now to an even 2-ball, 2-strike count. And that one a foul tip into the mitt of Jeff Basazzi. The 3rd strikeout for Croteau. The first swinging strikeout of the game, and now here's the number 9 man, DiBiase. Thought about offering, held the bat back, and takes ball 1 high. We saw the high strike called in the top half of this inning, but that one ruled a ball. As this pitch is hit in the air, out to shallow center field, a long run in, and Pete Schuler is able to make the catch. A good read off the bat for Schuler. And get some positive reinforcement from the coaching staff. 2 up and 2 down here in the third, and now it's back up to the top spot in the lineup, and Eddie Hart, who has the only hit so far today for Middleboro, as he sends this pitch out to right field. On the move, Blake Hill makes a nice lunging grab. Solid contact to the opposite field for Eddie Hart, but another good jump in the outfield. Hill makes the catch, and it's another 1-2-3 inning for Alex Croteau. Through with 3 now from Middleboro. We've still yet to see a run. 0-0 between these 2 teams in the playoffs here on coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV. Griffin Lynch was at the plate when Jeff Basazzi was thrown out trying to steal second base to end the top of the third inning. So he will get a fresh count as he opens up inning number 4 offensively for the Hawks. Chris Reed back out on the mound for the Middleboro Sachems. The first pitch of the inning on the way, and it's high for ball 1. The Milford bench remaining engaged. It's been relatively quiet on the Middleboro side. As there is a called strike on the outside edge, evening the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Now he tries to hold up the swing. They will check down to the infield umpire, who says no swing. 2-1 the count. Again, many Milford fans making the trip out here to Middleboro to watch this playoff game. Also, Milford Athletic Director Peter Boucher on hand. He was also on the field in Milford yesterday for the softball playoff game, making pregame announcements. Lynch now sending a soft fly ball on the infield. The shortstop Hart is able to make the catch. Griffin Lynch now 0 for 2 on the afternoon, 1 out in the inning, and now here's Anthony Mazzini. He walked with 1 out in the second inning, advanced to third base as Milford had the bases loaded with 1 out in the second, but could not score. And the first pitch in for strike 1, right at the bottom outside corner of the strike zone, a pitcher's pitch. Here's the 0-1, nearly the same spot. And Mazzini finds himself in an 0-2 hole. Takes a look at that pitch, it stays upstairs. 1-2 the count. This game being played at a rapid fire pace so far. As Reed delivers a ball that evens the count at 2-2. Two pitchers who are quick workers, getting right back on the pitching rubber after every pitch, ready to deliver the next. And now here comes the 2-2. It's hit hard on the ground to third base. It gets in and out of the glove of the third baseman, Cody Braga. And reaching at first base on the error is Mazzini. Not much of a tricky hop there at third base. Braga just couldn't squeeze it in the glove. And the first error of the day provides a 1-out base runner for the Scarlet Hawks. 2 times on base now for Anthony Mazzini. Brian Ireland takes a pitch high for ball 1. The next pitch from Reed and a big swing and a miss from Ireland. Quite a hack, but comes up empty. Ireland now sends this pitch foul off towards the left, and it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Ireland getting more and more consistent playing time as the season went on. Ended up with a .306 batting average through the regular season. Appeared in 19 games. And a floating breaking ball that just grabs the upper part of the strike zone. That is a pitch that Chris Reed has now been getting repeatedly. And the umpire, with a stern look over towards the Milford coaching staff, does not say a word. But not liking the criticism of the strike zone, a called third strike for Reed. 2 outs in the inning now for Schuler, who gets a late strike call from the ump. Mazzini remains at first base with 2 down. Schuler with a single in his last at bat, and he is down in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. A long set, now the pitch to the plate, too low. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the Milford center fielder, Pete Schuler. And another off-speed pitch close, but this one ruled outside. We've seen that pitch called a strike a time or 2 in this afternoon's game. And now a quick check over at first base, and Mazzini has to dive back into the bag. He gets in safely. It is a 2-ball, 2-strike count with 2 outs in the inning. The next pitch to Schuler is a foul tip into the mitt of the catcher, DiBiase, for the final out here in the 4th inning. Back-to-back Ks for the pitcher, Chris Reed, to bring a quick conclusion to the top of the 4th. And once again, Milford strands a base runner. They've had the opportunities, but they have yet to cash in. Onto the home half of the 4th. It is still Milford 0 and Middleboro 0 on this coverage of first-round action in the Division II South playoff bracket here on Milford TV. Alex Croteau has retired the last 9 batters in a row. He now enters into the bottom half of the 4th inning in this scoreless contest. Delivers a pitch outside. Two balls and no strikes, the count. And this one hit hard on the ground to second base. Wild has it in the glove. Slings it to first base for the out. Brendan Chipman retired. 4-3 on the grounder, and now here is Cody Braga, who grounded out to Aiden Wild at short in his first at bat. He sends a hard ground ball. That's going to sneak its way through past Brian Ireland. A hard ground ball single for Braga, and that breaks up 10 in a row retired by Alex Croteau. Just the second hit of the afternoon for the Sachems. Their first hit since the first batter of the game. And it puts a one-out base runner ahead of Paul Sansis, the left fielder. Takes a pitch high. Basazi came out of his crouch to look the runner back to first. Sansis had an opportunity to give his team the lead, batting with a runner at third base and 2 outs in the first, but struck out looking. Backing away from that pitch, but it reached the inside corner for a strike. One out deep in the bottom of the 4th inning. And now a pickoff check over at first base. The ball gets away. A lot of foul territory. That one rolls beyond the field of play. They will not award any further bases beyond second, and that is a break for Milford. If that had stayed in play, he easily could have ended up at third base. You could even see a bit of hesitation out of Croteau before he fired that pickoff throw. Not feeling comfortable about it. So an error on the pitcher, and now a runner in scoring position. An awkward swing and a miss from Sansis. And he's behind in the count, 0-2. A lead at second now for Braga. The pitch to the plate. And just able to hold up on the swing was Paul Sansis. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out in the frame. Here's the pitch. A chopper, that's going to sneak through up the middle for a hit. They're going to wave the runner to the plate. The throw from Schuler is going to be close, but out in front of the plate, scoring, standing up, is Cody Braga with the first run of the game, and Middleboro strikes first. They're up 1-0. So the botched pickoff play proves to be very problematic for Milford. It allowed Braga to get into scoring position and ultimately come around on the single up the middle. It was a single for Sansis. He takes second base on the throw. So he's there in scoring position still with only 1 out and a chance for more damage for the Sachems. And now this pitch popped up. Aiden Wild calling for it. Several steps back on the outfield grass. Wild makes the catch. And Sclafani is retired. So Alex Croteau had retired 10 batters in a row before allowing the single to Braga. Ends up allowing back-to-back base hits that produced the first run of the day for Middleboro. Now a pickoff play on at second base. And back standing was Sansis. The pitcher, Chris Reed, at the plate. He popped out to his counterpart, Alex Croteau, in his first at bat. Jumps ahead in the count. 2 balls and no strikes. Croteau, a look down at second base, now fires, and this pitch hit well foul off to the left. Croteau trying to put a stop to this inning right here. Here's his next pitch, and it's popped up. Jeff Basazzi in foul ground. He gives way to Croteau, who had the better angle. The pitcher makes the catch for the out that ends the inning. So the back-to-back singles give Middleboro a run in the inning. That is all they get, but we've played 4 full innings now from this Middleboro field, and the home team now owns a 1-0 lead over Milford here on coverage of Scarlet Hawks baseball in the MIAA tournament on Milford TV. Middleboro scoring an unearned run in the bottom of the 4th inning. A single for Cody Braga. Moved up into scoring position on the botched pickoff by Croteau and came around to score on the single by Sansis. And Middleboro up 1-0 as Croteau will now lead things off for the Milford Bats in the top of the 5th. The 0-1 pitch from Reed is low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Milford having a lot more opportunities to score runs than Middleboro has in this game, but unfortunately the Hawks have just not been able to get that big hit with runners aboard. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And an off-balance swing and a miss. The tag applied by the catcher to complete the out. Croteau strikes out for his 2nd straight at bat. That's the 4th K now for Chris Reed. Now back to the top of the Milford lineup, and Drew Wild. He takes a look at ball 1. Reed has had the strikeout pitch working. He struck out the last 3 batters he's faced. Two balls and no strikes, the count now on Drew Wild, who nearly drove in at least 2 runs for Milford in his last at bat, coming up with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the 2nd inning. Hit a looping line drive out to center field. But a terrific catch made for Casey Tucker ended that inning. And now again the umpire displeased with the reaction to the strike. Takes a long gaze over towards the Milford sideline. Now here's a 2-2 pitch. And going to the opposite field, Wild sends this one out to left, but sized up by Sansis, he makes the catch. Two up and 2 down here in the 5th. The Milford fans have collected over here on the first base line, equally displeased with the strike zone from the home plate ump. Aiden Wild now the last hope in this top of the 5th inning. Takes the first pitch for ball 1. Now sends this pitch on 1 high hop to third base, fielded by Braga. The throw to first base in plenty of time, and it is a very quick 1-2-3 top of the 5th inning, the first 1-2-3 inning for the Hawks in the game. And we head on to the bottom half of the 5th. 1-0 Middleboro here on coverage of Milford High School athletics on Milford TV. Milford hoping to generate a response in that top of the 5th inning, but instead they go quickly and quietly, 1-2-3, and now the home team right back up to the plate, bringing the bottom third of their lineup. Christian Bean, the DH, to lead it off. And the Milford fans raise their voices in support of Alex Croteau, As the first pitch is hit on the ground, rolling to second base, Wild has it, throws to first. 1 pitch and 1 out. Christian Bean now 0 for 2 with a pair of ground outs. Now here is the first baseman, Nick Delamano, who struck out swinging in his previous at-bat. Takes a pitch well outside for ball 1. And now a swing and a slicer foul out of play. This field in the midst of a community playground complex, some kids' playground equipment off to the left. 2 balls and 1 strike, now the count. Three and 1. Middleboro, the number 2 seed in this playoff bracket. Here is the 3-1 pitch, and it's a tapper foul, and that fills up the count. Croteau doing some maintenance work around the pitching rubber as Delamano digs back in at the plate. Ready to see another pitch. And that misses outside for ball 4. That is just the first walk in the outing for Croteau on a borderline pitch that did not go his way. And now first pitch swinging, DiBiase sends a fly ball out to right field. With the shades on, Blake Hill makes the catch. Not a sunny sky here in Middleboro. It's been a heavy cloud cover, but that might make things a little bit difficult to read out there. Differentiating between clouds and baseball, but Hill doing a nice job keeping his eye on that ball. 2 outs now in the inning. And here's Eddie Hart up for the 3rd time. Takes a pitch high, the snap throw to first base. And not very far off the bag was Delamano. He gets back easily. Eddie Hart with a hard line drive out to right field in his last at-bat, but a nice running grab from Blake Hill brought an end to the 3rd inning. Now a pickoff throw over to first, a very careful throw from Croteau, just trying to keep Delamano close. The number 1 seed in this playoff bracket, this D2 South bracket, is Westwood High School. A called strike. 1-1 the count. There was just one play-in game in this D2 South bracket as we see another pickoff attempt. And that was number 16 seed Greater New Bedford Voc taking on Canton High School, a fellow Hockomock League team. It was the Bulldogs who were able to prevail. The upset to allow them into the first round. As this pitch is in at the knees for a called strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the inning. Croteau will look into Jeff Basazzi for the sign. Now comes set. Ready with the 1-2 pitch. It's a line drive in and out of the glove of Drew Wild. Did he get the out at second base? Yes, he did. A hard shot that just snuck past the bat of the glove of Croteau. Drew Wild trying to make the catch. It bounced out of the glove, but he managed to get it and dive on the second base bag to get the force out that ends the inning. Anyway, it works. And the inning is over. We are through 5 full now from Middleboro. It remains just a 1-0 lead for the Sachems here on coverage of Milford High School athletics on Milford TV. The middle of the order bats coming to the plate for Milford. They're running out of time. Only trailing by a run, but they have not been able to get much done against Chris Reed. Reed has retired the last 5 batters in a row as Hill now sprays this pitch foul and out of play. Blake Hill has fouled out in each of his last 2 at-bats. Takes that pitch that bounced in front of the plate. Reed back into his windup, the pitch, and an off-balance swing and a miss. The ball gets away from the catcher, a high throw to first, but pulled down by Delamano, and the strikeout completed. Blake Hill now 0 for 3, and you can make it 5 Ks in all for Chris Reed, who has indeed gotten stronger and stronger as this game has gone on. Milford's best opportunities coming in the first 2 innings. They haven't been able to generate much since. This Middleboro team just 2 seasons removed from a Division III state championship, now playing D2 ball as this one is hit to third base. A low throw to first base that gets away. Basazzi will be awarded second base as that ball rolls out of play. It was a nice play to start with from Cody Braga, who was able to pick it cleanly off the turf, but a low throw skips away from the first baseman Delamano. You'd think that would go as a base hit and a throwing error. It gets Basazzi into scoring position, so the second error on the third baseman, 2 errors in all now for the Sachems, and the tying run in scoring position for the Hawks. Griffin Lynch at the plate. He swings at the first pitch and hits a line drive out to right field. They will wave the runner to the plate as the ball gets underneath the glove of the right fielder, and Griffin Lynch will end up at second base as Milford ties the game 1-1. And the Hawks bench is fired up. It was Matt Fornicari running for Basazzi. That extra speed on the bases. And we're all tied up at 1. And another error for Middleboro in the outfield, as that looked like it was going to be a 50-50 call as to whether they would send the runner, but then the ball ended up under the glove of Sclafani. And it was an easy scoring opportunity for Fornicari from there. A single for Griffin Lynch. An error out in right field. Now 3 errors for Middleboro. Two balls and no strikes the count. Reed possibly a little rattled here by this activity, as Anthony Mazzini sends one foul and out of play. 2-1 the count. The Milford sideline springing to life. Mazzini has been on base twice. And a little out in front of that pitch, and the count evens at 2. A look down to second. Reed comes to the plate with a breaking ball that freezes Mazzini for a called strike 3. Reed getting the first 2 outs of the inning on strikeouts. And now here is Brian Ireland, who takes the pitch inside for ball 1. 2 outs now in the 6th inning. A run home for Milford to tie it. They have the go-ahead run in scoring position. Ireland looking to drive him in. Ahead in the count now, 2 balls and no strikes. Ireland reaching on a hit by pitch in the 2nd inning. He struck out looking in the 4th. And now a coach's visit to the mound. Ireland will take the opportunity to talk things over with Coach Pellegrini. A huge spot in this game. The tide seeming to turn now in Milford's favor. Came into this top of the 6th inning trailing 1-0, but they've brought the tying run home. Griffin Lynch is the runner at second base, representing the go-ahead run. As Reed now settles back on the pitching rubber, Ireland at the plate, the 2-0 pitch. And this one sliced foul right to the edge of the field of play, but no chance for Braga to make the catch. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs in the inning. And Griffin Lynch leads at second base. Here's the pitch. It's a chopper on the ground. The first baseman fielding it. He'll need the pitcher to cover the bag. He gets there in time. And Middleboro records the out that ends the inning, but Milford is able to get the equalizer. A single from Griffin Lynch with an assist in the outfield from Sclafani on the error, and Milford ties this game 1-1. As we head to the home half of the 6th inning, stay tuned to coverage of Milford High School baseball in the MIAA playoffs here on Milford TV. Into the bottom of the 6th inning now, Alex Croteau returns to the mound, dishes strike 1 into Brendan Chipman to lead off this Middleboro half of the inning. 1 ball and 1 strike now. Milford able to scratch across the tying run in the top half of this inning. Another called strike. And a 1 ball, 2 strike count on the second baseman, Brendan Chipman. And a swing and a miss for strike 3. Chased the high pitch. And Croteau gets his 4th strikeout. Now to the number 3 spot in the lineup, and Cody Braga, the 3rd baseman. Braga swings at the first pitch, lofts a lazy fly ball behind second base. Drew Wild there waiting. 2 very fast outs here in the bottom of the 6th. And now it's Paul Sansis who has struck out and also delivered an RBI single to produce Middleboro's only run to this point in the game. He takes a borderline pitch, ruled ball 1. And now a line drive out to left field. Griffin Lynch just a few steps to his right makes the catch. And it is a very quick and easy 1-2-3 bottom of the 6th inning for Alex Croteau. We head to the 7th. And this ball game remains tied. Milford 1, Middleboro 1. It is playoff action at its best. And it's coming to you here on Milford TV. As Milford prepares to take their swings here in the 7th inning, they will face a new pitcher on the mound. Chris Reed finished after 6 innings. He allowed 1 run on 5 hits. He walked 1 and struck out 6. He is replaced by Christian Bean, who served as the team's designated hitter through the first 6 frames, so nothing will change in terms of the lineup. And Chris Reed does remain in this game. He now plays center field, so Chris Tucker, who was flexed out of the lineup, now completely out of the game. Pete Schuler leads it off for the Hawks here in the 7th and takes a called strike 1. The tall right-hander Bean with his next pitch. That misses outside. All tied up at 1 in the 7th inning. And Schuler now lifts a fly ball up over the backstop and out of play. And he is down in the count 1-2. Milford not wanting to give Middleboro a chance for a walk-off. They want to try to score a run here. A high fly ball from Schuler out to deep left field. Center fielder and left fielder converge. It is Chris Reed on his first opportunity since entering the outfield. He makes the catch. Schuler gave that ball a ride, but he ends up as out number 1. Schuler now 1 for 3. And now here's Alex Croteau, who is 0 for 2. He struck out looking in the second, struck out swinging in the 5th. And takes a called strike 1 to open up this at bat in the 7th. Trying to get on base ahead of the top of the lineup. Here's the 0-1. Croteau couldn't pull the trigger, and he's quickly down in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Christian Bean with his 0-2 delivery. It's in the dirt. One out deep here in the top of the 7th inning. The base is empty. Drew Wild on deck. Bean nods his acceptance to the sign, now comes to the plate, and a swing and a miss. Croteau down on strikes for the 3rd time today. 2 up and 2 down for the Hawks, and now it is up to Drew Wild. Wild due for a hit in this game. He flew out to center field in the 1st, lined out to center field in the 2nd, and lined out to left field in the 5th inning. Starts off ahead in the count, 1-0. Maintaining a batting average over 400 through the regular season. 2 balls and no strikes now the count. Bean into his windup. Here's the 2-0 pitch. It's a chopper up over the glove of the pitcher, fielded behind the second base bag by Chipman. He throws to first base and gets the out. After that high bounce, it looked like Wild might have a chance to reach, but a good play by the Middleboro second baseman. He gets his counterpart, and Milford goes 1-2-3 in the 7th. A chance for Middleboro to walk off with the win coming up next, or a chance for Croteau to force extra innings. We'll see who prevails next here on Milford TV. We have reached the bottom of the 7th inning. Alex Croteau facing batters 5, 6, and 7 in the Middleboro lineup, hoping he can send this game to extra innings. Middleboro grabbing a single run back in the bottom of the 4th inning. Milford tying the game with a run in the 6th. And that's it. Not a whole lot of offense on either side. It's been a well-pitched game as this ball is hit on the ground. That sneaks past the glove of Aiden Wild out into center field. And Joe Sclafani able to get a leadoff single here in the 7th. Middleboro with the winning run on base. And the Sachems will look to get some extra speed on the bases. They will send Mackenzie Alioth out onto the bases to run for Sclafani. And now here is Chris Reed, now the center fielder in this game. After pitching the first 6 innings before he sees a pitch, they will immediately check on Alioth at first base. Now Reed looking bunt. He drops one softly out in front of the plate. Basazi's throw to first gets there. Now again, they've got a runner in, a pickoff. They send the throw to third base. Still have the runner. Now Drew Wild giving chase. He throws to the bag, and no tag. The runner safe at third base. Aiden Wild unable to get the tag down. Coach Pellegrini irate as he heads out to talk over with the umpire. It did appear, however, from my position that Aiden Wild did not get the tag down. Alioth sliding feet first into the third base bag. Wild trying to get the tag down. But it did appear that there was daylight between the glove of Aiden Wild and the shoulder of Alioth, who will now be lifted for another pinch runner. And Middleboro, regardless of the outcome of that play, who agrees and who disagrees, Middleboro has the winning run at third base. It will be yet another runner, as Jason Bean now will run for Alioth, who had been running for Sclafani, so it's been an adventurous trip on the bases. Chris Reed with the sacrifice bunt, 1 out in the inning, the winning run at third base. Gut check time for Croteau as this pitch is lined out to center field. Backpedaling is Schuler. That ball gets off the end of his glove. The winning run will come in to score, and the Middleboro Sachems, in a hard-fought ball game, will walk off with the victory. Controversy at the end of this game as Coach Pellegrini absolutely sure that that out was recorded at third base. Again, it was a very close play, but from my perspective here behind the plate, it did look as though the runner Alioth had slid in and no tag was made by Aiden Wild. And Christian Bean able to lift a pitch up over the glove of Schuler, and honestly, even if he had made the catch, the run likely would have scored. So a 2-1 victory here for Middleboro. And for Milford, coming in as the number 15 seed, the heavy underdog in this match, they gave Middleboro everything they could handle. An excellent pitched ball game for Alex Croteau. Some clutch hitting in the 6th inning, allowing Milford to tie this game, but just unable to take enough advantage of opportunities offensively, and Milford will be eliminated from tournament play as they lose this game to Middleboro by a final score of 2-1. Again, just excellent playoff baseball here on the field. It's unfortunate it had to come down to a controversial call like that, but once again, I will say, and I'll have an opportunity to look at the replay afterwards, but it did look like it was a good call from the umpire. It did look like Aiden Wild was not able to actually secure that tag onto the shoulder of Alioth. And the result is a walk-off win for Middleboro. They will advance in this playoff tournament. They will take on the winner of the Oliver Ames Hingham game. And for Milford, their 2015 season comes to an end, but a very strong showing in this playoff game here today. The win goes to Chris Reed. The loss goes to Alex Croteau. Christian Bean drives in the game-winning run. And that will wrap up our 2015 coverage of Milford High School baseball. For Rob O'Keefe, I am Tim Coet. Your final score, one final time, 2-1. Middleboro advances in the tournament with the victory over Milford. This has been coverage of the 2015 MIAA playoffs here on Milford TV. So long, everybody.